You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. You can sit at dinner with friends. You can laugh at the right moments. You can reply to messages. You can even be in a relationship. And yet, something inside you feels untouched, unseen, disconnected. If that's you, I want you to pause for a moment and hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. What you're experiencing isn't social failure. It's emotional disconnection. And those are not the same thing. 1. Loneliness is not about people, it's about connection. Most of us were taught that loneliness means you don't have enough people around you. But research in psychology shows something deeper. Loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of meaningful emotional attunement. You can be in a crowded room and feel invisible if no one is connecting with your inner world, your fears, your longings, your real thoughts. We don't just need interaction. We need resonance. We need someone to feel us. And here's the part most people miss. Sometimes the reason you feel lonely around others is because you are not fully showing them who you are. 2. The protective self. Many of us learned, very early in life, that being fully ourselves wasn't always safe. Maybe expressing sadness led to dismissal. Maybe excitement was mocked. Maybe vulnerability was ignored. Maybe conflict felt dangerous. So we adapted. We became pleasant, funny, helpful, independent, low maintenance, the strong one. And those adaptations worked. They protected us. But protection has a cost. If people only see the version of you that feels safe to show, they are connecting with a curated surface, not the real, complex, emotional you underneath. And the nervous system knows the difference. When the real you is hidden, even subconsciously, your brain registers. I am not fully seen. And that feels like loneliness. 3. Emotional intimacy requires risk. Connection requires exposure. Not trauma dumping. Not oversharing with strangers. But gradually letting people see your uncertainty, your needs, your edges. And that can feel terrifying. Because the deeper fear underneath loneliness often isn't. What if I'm alone? It's, what if they see the real me and leave? So we stay half visible. We stay agreeable. We stay fine. And then we wonder why no one truly knows us. Loneliness in this sense is not a social problem. It's an authenticity gap. 4. The performing self trap. In modern life, especially with social media, we are constantly performing. Performing competence. Performing happiness. Performing productivity. Performing stability. Even in friendships, we can fall into roles. The therapist friend. The funny one. The advice giver. The chill one. But roles create distance. Because when you are playing a role, you are not being known, you are being perceived. And perception is not the same as connection. Deep connection happens when two nervous systems feel safe enough to drop performance. And safety takes time. But it also takes one brave moment. One honest sentence. One actually. I've been feeling kind of lost lately. 5. You might not feel safe, even if you don't know why. Sometimes loneliness around people isn't about them at all. It's about your attachment patterns. If you grew up needing to self-regulate alone. If your emotions weren't mirrored consistently. If connection felt unpredictable. Your nervous system may equate closeness with vulnerability, and vulnerability with danger. Southwest, when people get close, your body subtly pulls back. You may intellectualize instead of feel. Joke instead of open up. Change the subject. Withdraw emotionally while staying physically present. And again, this isn't weakness. It's adaptation. But adaptation can outlive its usefulness. And what once protected you might now be keeping you isolated. 6. The real question. Instead of asking, why do I feel lonely around people? Try asking, where am I not allowing myself to be fully known? That question isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Because connection begins with self-connection. If you are disconnected from your own needs, your own emotions, your own truth, it becomes almost impossible for someone else to meet you there. You cannot be seen where you are unwilling to stand. 7. What actually reduces this type of loneliness? Not more social events. Not more followers. Not more surface-level interaction. What reduces this loneliness is emotional honesty in small doses. Choosing one safe person and going 5% deeper. Saying what you actually feel instead of what sounds acceptable. Letting silence exist without filling it with performance. And most importantly, learning to validate your own emotional experience. Because sometimes the deepest loneliness is the gap between you and yourself. When you start listening inwardly, without judgment, something shifts. You feel less abandoned by your own inner world. And that changes how you show up externally. 8. A gentle reminder. If you feel lonely around people, it doesn't mean you're broken. It might mean you're ready for deeper connection. It might mean your nervous system is tired of pretending. It might mean your authentic self wants more space. Loneliness can be painful. But it can also be information. It's your system saying, I want to be met. And that begins with meeting yourself. Slowly. Patiently. Compassionately. You don't have to reveal everything overnight. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to practice being slightly more real than you were yesterday. And over time, the kind of connection you crave becomes possible. Not because there are more people around you, but because you are finally there too. If this topic resonates with you, I'd love to know, when do you feel most alone? In crowds, in relationships, at work?